can go ahead and get started. Welcome to, I would say, special edition College Football Chatter Week 11. It is special because we are a few hours later, and it is the first night of the real rankings this season, the College Football Playoff Rankings. That show starts at 8 o'clock on ESPN. But we got some time. We got other things to talk about, including the coaching carousel, recapping last weekend, giving out some predictions of how the rankings are going to look tonight. My personal rankings, at least version 2, because I put out a ranking in the preseason, and I'm going to give out a revised version tonight of how I think the playoff is going to shake up based on how the season has played out so far. And then we'll give a quick preview of other games happening this coming weekend in Week 11. And then we will do a live reaction to the rankings after 8 o'clock. So up here we got Lo, Colton, and Roddy, aka Polito. How are you guys?
I'm in the dream, man, in Kroger. You know what I'm saying? Getting dinner. I'm doing good, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm about to watch some of this Maction, bro. So, yeah, doing good.
Facts. Oh, I need to put that up in the Jumbo, my play. Well, you can do that too. I don't know if you put anything out on your page for Maction tonight, but put that up.
I didn't. I pretty much everything in college football tonight I gave exclusively to my VIP. But
Word.
And then plus the games are starting now. I think both the games started at 7.
Yeah, they did. So what's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Why'd you say it like that, bro?
yeah. That was exactly what I was about to say. That's how I talk.
Nah, just the tone you said that in. That's crazy. Also, want to put out there, we are also live on YouTube right now. Figured out a way to get the spaces going on YouTube as well. So, appreciate everyone in the building right now. So what I wanted to start with is the coaching carousel. So if you've been under a rock, Auburn has fired Hugh Freeze after going 6-16 in the SEC over the last 3 seasons. No news on different buyout terms. So he's due to get just north of $15 million from Auburn. And the time there just didn't go as expected, as all of these other firings have tend to go so far. Just didn't go to plan. I kind of expected more out of Auburn this season just based on the roster that they had on paper. I thought that Jackson Arnold was going to be a different quarterback, I would say, than he was at Oklahoma, and it clearly hasn't panned out that way. So it led to the demise of Hugh Freeze at Auburn. Some potential candidates, early candidates that have been thrown out there: Brent Key at Georgia Tech, Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri, John Summerall at Tulane, Clark Lee at Vandy, and Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator at Georgia. Curious to get the panel's thoughts, just on Hugh Freeze in general, his time at Auburn, and if you have a fit that you think would work best for the job. We'll just go around the horn. We'll start with Roddy.
Yeah. I mean, we heard the jokes about Hugh, the whole tea time stuff, golfing and all that. But, I mean, if you look at how their offensive performance went this year, it kind of bears out that he probably wasn't working as hard as he should have been. I mean, he was taking tea times on Fridays, during the season, just not all the way locked in. And, I mean, I never understood why Auburn took that chance. I mean, you have him and all the things that he had happen with the whole cell phone situation. We won't go into that. And then also you have DJ Durkin on your staff as well. And we know what happened with him. So just very confusing by Auburn because they usually don't make decisions like this or commit to guys who have these type of track records and ended up biting them in the ass. So, I think going forward, I think they're going to want a real clean cut guy. Maybe Summerall is that. I really do think, just thinking about it, like I think we should probably just put Drink's name down in terms of like putting him in the coaching search. I think he's getting a lot of what he needs at Mizzou. Like they were competing with a lot of top prospects. They drew away Georgia players and got them on staff. I mean, they drew away a Penn State player. I know he was a backup, but with Pribula, but still, like I think he's good at on his level at Mizzou. So overall, it was just a terrible hire. I would say, if Golish maybe I'm throwing his name in the ring and he doesn't deserve it because I've seen his steam die down a little bit. I think Summerall probably would be good. That'd probably be a good level for him to go to. Maybe not jump to LSU yet, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what Auburn's going to do, but I think they're going to want to make a more certain hire because the last three guys have been booty butt cheeks, and they still have not had a coach better than Gus Malzahn since they fired Gus Malzahn. So we'll see.
Completely agree. The fall off has been crazy since Malzahn. Totally agree with that. Sosa, you had your hand up. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the more I think about it, I think that Auburn is kind of fucked. I wish I could say it in a nicer way, but I think they're completely fucked. I think that they're in a situation where where there are more desirable jobs with less pressure, less expectations, and I think it's just a bad year to be firing your coach right now. I mean, I think it's just over with at this point. With we're gonna start making up candidates here soon. We're gonna start saying guys deserve jobs in the SEC that don't, just because there's so many jobs available. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just think about this. Lane Kiffin is the top candidate. He's never won a motherfucking thing. He's the numero uno candidate, right at the top of the list. These teams firing their coaches. What do you think they're gonna end up with? I'm gonna tell y'all right now, and I think I told Lo this. I'm kind of mad Jones is in the space. Hey Jonesy, can you leave for a second? Like, just leave real quick. Just leave for a second. When he leaves, I'll tell you what I want to say.
That's
He's
insane.
definitely not leaving
That's
now.
insane.
All right. Listen, bro. What motherfuckers need to be aware of right now is that Ohio State is currently turning into what Alabama was. Look at the team. Their transfers will be back next year. They're looking like they're going to moonwalk to a title. They got a redshirt freshman at quarterback. They're set for at least the next 2 years at quarterback. Outside of Bryce Underwood, I don't think any team in the Big Ten is set at quarterback better than Ohio State. They have number one receiver after number one receiver just moving in and out. Their defense is good. They got a top transfer out of the portal at running back, and the freshman that's there is better than him. Like, Ohio State is going to be they're going to be so comfortable right now. They have no issues at all. The rest of outside of Indiana, the rest of the conference is nothing. And Ohio State, they have every level recruit at every single position locked up for the next couple of years. They're going to win like 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5. That's what I think that's what it's looking like to me, because all the blue bloods outside of, I guess, Alabama's kind of righted the ship. Georgia, Roddy, hello. I think that's what's scary right now. I think that like all this instability across the board makes it really easy for Ohio State to be really fucking good the next 5 years, because you got a bunch of blue blood programs in influx. That's what's going on.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, I feel like the switch in NIL and the transfer portal and everything is definitely going to make a lot more parity across the board. Not even just in the SEC and Big Ten.
People to think about this, okay? In the last 3 years, okay, Ohio State's gotten the best high school recruit and the best transfer portal recruit, and they now play on the same fucking team. How the fuck are you going to compete with that?
Brian Hartline goes somewhere else.
If Caleb Downs didn't start at Ohio State, brother, like he's the number one player in the transfer portal, and in the same year they get the fucking Calvin Johnson clone out of high school. Good luck, bro. Good fucking luck.
And they got Chris Henry's son coming next year too.
Right. It's like Tate leaving won't even matter.
Yeah. Completely agree with that. Colton, what are your thoughts?
I tend to agree with y'all in that it's gonna be thin now that essentially like 50% of the markets are open, or the positions are open rather. But I think I choose to look at it a little bit more optimistically. You could say these guys don't like necessarily deserve jobs, or they're not like super sought after or haven't been traditionally sought after. But you could easily see guys like Kirby Moore go somewhere, Will Stein, some coordinators with a lot of experience at one side or the other, like a Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State a few years ago. And that's worked out fairly well for Mississippi State. Mississippi State's also not a team with very high expectations like a Florida or an LSU or an Auburn. But you definitely could hit some diamonds in the rough there. On top of, I mean, James Franklin is still looking for a job. I know he's been tied to Virginia Tech, but Auburn, I feel like, could use a James Franklin who's very consistent, has trouble in the big games, but Auburn's had trouble in every games for the past like 7 years or 5 or 6 or whatever years. And I choose to look at it a little bit more optimistically. I think there's plenty of room to share. I think Glenn Schumann also is a guy I hadn't thought of him really in this market yet, but he could fit in at an Auburn or at a Florida. It wouldn't be a flashy hire, but you're not going to go out and get a Dan Lanning. Eli Drinkwitz is probably the biggest name other than Kiffin. I think Kiffin stays at Ole Miss, though. I think they pony up and pay him. But Drink is a guy who or I think it was Roddy talked about probably not moving. I could see that as well. I could see Missouri being like, "Yep, we got our guy, and it's working out, and we're going to pay him up." So it could be something like that. But there's going to be coordinators getting jobs. There's going to be guys like James Franklin in there, and I think John Sumrall is the guy wherever he lands. Hopefully, at the next level, he's going to do very well. Especially if it's at an SEC school where he's going to have a lot of opportunity to recruit higher blue chip talent and really take off at one of those schools. I think there's still plenty of talent. Like we said, there's with NIL and the transfer portals a lot more parity, and you can make it work. Although you're probably going to have to take more chances with there being so many openings and so many tier 1 and tier 2 teams looking for coordinators at this point.
Completely agree. So just real quick, because you got your hand up, and then we'll go to Low.
I like what is it? 0-0 Ground Zero Sports.
Colton.
Huh?
Colton.
You can just call me Colton, but it's 0-0. Like,
0-0. Okay,
yeah.
Colton. I think, dog. Listen, also, like, I like the fact that you said that you think Kiffin will stay. I mean, why would Kiffin want to leave a program that he's built that is stable and has an opportunity to make a run, right? Like, and why would he want to leave? Like, what advantage does LSU or Florida really offer him? I really thought about this. Like, I'm like, he should leave. And then you think, like, well, he just put a first-round pick in the NFL at quarterback. Like,
I
when's the last time
agree.
Florida's done that with an actual good quarterback?
I agree with
Like,
Colton. I don't
you
know.
feel what I'm saying?
I don't think it's gonna be that easy to lure Kiffin away just solely based on the flashiness, if you want to say it that way, like of LSU or Florida. Like, I understand that they might have better resources and the facilities might be better and stuff like that. They might have like deeper pocketbooks, but at the end of the day, Lane Kiffin is winning games at Ole Miss. He's going to get that
And you
team in the
notice-
playoffs this year. Like,
You notice what he's saying too. I think a lot of the comments that Lane is making is to basically go at the donors at Ole Miss. Like, you need to pony up more bread for this fucking program if you don't want me to leave.
Yeah.
When if you've noticed, he brought up Winston Watkins every press conference, literally telling the world that another team is going to buy him.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's really doing. I think he's quite literally trying to make a statement to Ole Miss, like, listen, I'm willing to be here, but you're going to have to come out of pocket. Not just paying me, because obviously that comes with a pay raise anyway, but you know, like they're going to have to come out of pocket with the money, and they have it. I think they have it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the time is now. The time is now, dog. Like, LSU don't have a lot of certainty. Like, I mean, Alabama is probably still going to be Alabama, you know, for the foreseeable future. But they're not Nick Saban's Alabama. Like, it's not like they're unbeatable. So the time is now, dog. And so you were saying Auburn's fucked. I think Florida's way more fucked.
Now I think Auburn. The reason why I say Auburn is a little bit more fucked is because you don't like. In order to be the coach at Auburn, you have to fit other values that don't necessarily match just football or fucking education.
Can I
Like,
point out just one more thing? I agree Auburn. I agree Auburn is in a tougher position just solely because you are in the same state as Alabama. Like Alabama at this point is going to out recruit them as they always have. I don't see any way how Auburn, changes that direction. Especially like Florida is a big part in the state of Florida. LSU, the biggest brand in the state of Louisiana. So I don't see how
Yeah,
Auburn
no,
changes the
Dabo
recruiting
Swinney,
aspect either.
Dabo Swinney is going to end up at one of these schools, bro. I'm calling it now. Dabo will not be the head coach of Clemson next year.
I mean, he literally said in his press
I think
conference
he
earlier.
stays.
He literally said in his press conference last week, he's like, I can't blame him if they fire me. Like,
Well, they won't. I mean, they obviously won't fire him. But
yeah,
the fact that he would even say that is kind of like. And I told you guys, like with Dabo, he can leave Clemson and not have any issues. Two coaches can leave their head coaching position right now and not have any problem with the fan base. Kenny Dillingham and Dabo Swinney. They can leave the school they're at and not a single person will be mad at them.
Well, yeah, nobody will be mad at them. My only thing with the Dabo thing is like he gonna have to commit to NIL, bro. Like he can't do this name, image, and
Yeah,
likeness of the Lord. I love the
yeah,
Lord
but
too,
that's a
brother.
myth.
yeah.
That's a myth though, because Clemson had a top 5 NIL collective before NIL started because they knew it was coming. That's something that's kind of a weird lie that people have told in regards to him and leaning into NIL. Clemson spent a shit ton of money in NIL. That's like a false narrative.
I
It's
mean,
more
it's
so
not coming
dipping
to
into the
pass.
portal and paying like other teams for their players than like going and
Yeah,
like poaching that talent and then just keeping it like recruiting out of high school and keeping it home. They do get like some guys in the portal, but it's more so like the keeping people home is what their NILs for.
I feel like he
like
also he don't have the Georgia quarterback portal anymore.
Yeah.
no, that shit is over.
Yeah.
Like that shit is done. Most of them dudes going to Big Ten schools, which is kind of crazy to me. Like Lil Rayola, his brother, he's at Buford right now. He's going to what? He's going to Nebraska, or
He's
he's going
going.
to
Yeah,
some Big
he's
Ten
going to
school.
Nebraska.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
committed to Nebraska.
yeah.
Yeah, he cold though. He lefty. He cold.
Yeah, I mean, also, I think with the like you see, I know this is kind of left in regards to what you were talking about, but like I think that rule staying in Nebraska kind of is like it kind of sets the fucking precedent for Lane not to go anywhere. Like I
Hmm.
think that when you look at it like that, because like we're talking about career job, dream job, and then it's like, do I really want to start over in this NIL climate from zero? Do you really want to do that?
100%, I agree. And Matt Rule, for whatever people might want to say about him, is absolutely a sought after person, especially with taking jobs in the past. In Nebraska, obviously going to have a tough stretch with losing Raiola, but he's got that reputation of being able to like build cultures and build teams, but from the ground up.
I live 2 blocks from Temple, bro.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
he
you
is
talk
he
about from nothing. Jesus
and
Christ.
and for him, because I mean, Penn State fans, sorry, Reed, will probably try and tell you that like, oh, Matt Rule was never a candidate. We didn't like Matt Rule. He's best. He goes on vacation with the AD. They were talking. There was something there, if not an actual offer. There was interest at least, and for him to be like, nah, I'm staying here. That, like you said, is that's setting a precedent for sure.
I want to say something real quick about the Ole Miss program. I don't think there's too many SEC schools that has surpassed 1 billion in endowment. Usually that comes like with your private colleges, that type of thing. Vanderbilt, I think Vanderbilt maybe would be the only one that's up there.
Hmm.
But for Ole Miss to pass 1 billion in endowments, that means something is coming in from somewhere. So that's something like that I follow, and I thought that was very interesting because Sosa like brought up a point, and I think like I was at the same point, like there's no benefit to like leave him. Like yeah, I think like when it comes to like getting athletes, I think it does particularly has to do with the money. Now, I mean we all know that. I mean
Hmm.
that's the elephant in the room. And I think like once he gets that, I think like they'll renegotiate his maybe his contract after this right here to probably lock him in for a very, very long time. Because you just look at the other SEC programs, they're they're getting kind of like everything's getting on a playing level field, so to speak. Everybody you can only have the best of facilities. I think they got that. So and then like you see Lang like I think Sosa brought it up too about he just put a QB in the NFL that is doing that I think is going to be doing great things. That's going to help
Mhm.
too as well. So I think there's really no benefit for him moving. I think it's only up. I mean, look at it. The floor is only up at Ole Miss. And if he can look up and to bring a national championship to that school, listen, he'll have it like listen, they'll worship him more than they worship Saban in Alabama. I'm just being honest.
And no one else will get credit for anything but him. It will be the
Mm-hmm.
house
Yep.
and program that Lane built.
Yep.
He can go to Florida. He'll never ever be Steve Spurrier. No matter what, he'll never ever be Urban Meyer. He go to LSU, it's the same thing. He'll never be any of those. He'll never be Saban. He'll still be in the shadows of Saban at LSU.
hmm
Undeniable.
Yeah, that's a good
My
point.
bad, love.
That's a good point. He wins something at Ole Miss, he's gonna, they're gonna start naming like every building after him. They're gonna name the field after him, the
Man,
stadium after
listen,
him. Like,
I mean, you guys know this. There's no better feeling when something that is yours and that you did. No better feeling. I don't care what you do in life.
yeah.
When you did it and it's your name,
hmm
man, that's a feeling it's priceless. And I kind of like think that's what he wants.
Yeah, for sure, Mike. I didn't know that endowment. I didn't know that endowment info either. That's very interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, Ole Miss. I mean, you can say the history isn't there, but I don't think in this era we're really locked in on history anymore. I think Ole Miss can be a better team perennially than Florida and Auburn, and they have been. So if Ole Miss is able to at least be in the realm that a Florida and Auburn's going to be in, I don't see a reason why Lane would just uproot and move to one of those schools unless it's like an extra $5 million a year, which I don't think is going to happen personally.
Something also major that Ole Miss has done in the last 2 years is they have the best college basketball coach in the country.
Yeah,
They brought
Beard.
in Chris Beard.
Yeah.
They literally were able to steal Chris Beard because of what happened in Texas,
hmm
and he turned the basketball program around in one season.
hmm Very
So
very
that's the
good
thing. It's
point.
the entire athletic program is headed in the right direction.
And
The women's basketball team is solid too.
and their baseball program is pretty solid. Am I wrong? No.
No, they're solid too.
Yeah.
But the men's basketball program being able to get Chris Beard was a huge win because like nobody envisioned what happened to him at Texas happening. Like he was the hottest thing on the market, and got lost his job after 1 year at Texas. So he kind of lucked up with the Ole Miss job. But I'm just saying in regards to the athletic program in general, it's not just like the football program; it's everything around it. Is the athletic department is good? Is going up.
hmm
Everything.
Yeah, for sure. Completely agree. Let's get Lowe's thoughts real quick since we are uh talking about, I guess, LSU's lead candidate. Lowe, any thoughts on Kiffin potentially becoming LSU's next head coach?
Well, from my understanding, last couple of days in particular here, LSU has been focused on a couple other things, and which is it doesn't entail a head coach right now, right? They had to get a president for the university appointed, which they got that done this week, and then also they had to get a new AD appointed, which they've gotten that done. So and also from some boosters that I'm closely knitted with, there's some conversation going on behind closed doors with one Nick Saban. Okay, I'm just saying there's been some conversations there behind closed doors with one Nick Saban, and it's not out of the scope or picture that he could return back to the sidelines and be with LSU. If we think about also with Saban left LSU to go to the pros, right? He didn't leave to go to another university. He left to go be a head coach at Miami. All right. When he left to go be the head coach at Miami, because he wanted to go coach in the pros, well, Les Miles stepped in, right? And when Les Miles had the job, Les Miles was doing good, right? So when Saban decided that he didn't want to do the NFL no more, well, he couldn't just come back to LSU because Les Miles was doing a good job, right? So then he ended up taking the job at Alabama, which they needed a head coach. And then once he got to Alabama, he was building his program and he had a good program going. So it was no need for him to go to another university because he had everything that he wanted right there at Alabama. Well, now the shit is a little bit different, right? Because now he's a broadcaster. His name is out there. He's an open person to be able to take a head coaching job. And what other better place to come back to the place where only reason you left it was to go to the pros to be a head coach. So once again, I know that they are in deep talks, boosters, former alums that have deep pockets, is ready to kind of Saban name your price, and we'll kind of do whatever you want to with that. But once again, that's behind closed doors. I'm not even going to say like that's a thing that happens. I just know that that is an option on the table that LSU is definitely looking into. So I don't. That's why I don't think that we're hearing so much talk anymore about not Les Miles, but Kiffin at LSU, because I think LSU really wants to kind of push all the marbles in on Saban if Saban is willing to take it. If Saban isn't willing to take it, then I think there's several avenues that we go as far as LSU for head coaches, right? It's one of the top 5 head coaching jobs in the country. You know what I mean? Like
For
coaches
sure.
would absolutely love to coach there. So I feel like whoever we do bring in or whoever we do have come in is going to be a top tier person. Is going to be a person who has stature, and it's going to be a big name. So as far as that goes, I'm really not concerned as far as our head coach search goes right now, because I'm hoping that it is going to be the Nick Saban. I'm hoping that they get the money together that Saban wants, and if Saban says I want $20 million over the next 3-4 years, you know what I'm saying, we make it happen, or however much he should be able to name his price, and it can be done. But as far as like the Auburn thing go, I think that Summerall is the best fit there, right? I
Agreed.
feel like Auburn needs to have somebody to come in and basically build that foundation back up. All right. And I think that Summerall is that coach that can come in and get a foundation back to where it needs to be at. Right. He's a no BS type of coach.
Mhm.
He's not going to, play a lot of games with you. His resume speaks for itself. Whenever he goes to programs, he builds them from ground up and get them back into contentions. So I think that he's a perfect fit there for Auburn, because that's what they need. Auburn needs a damn reset there, right? It's been so much money dumped out, and the previous coaches that were in there just, there hasn't been any stability there. And I think that Summerall can come in and absolutely build that foundation back up to Auburn football like they want it to be. So I hope to see Summerall go there, and I think that he would be a great fit there, and I think that he will have that Auburn football program. Give him a couple of years. I don't think it's going to happen overnight.
Mhm.
And also, I think with Auburn, if he goes to Auburn, they're going to give him more time than you would see like if you go to a Florida LSU. Florida LSU is right now. Like, we don't got time to wait. But at least I feel with Auburn, they're going to give him a little bit more of a leash than say a LSU or a Florida would. So I would love to see him go there. I think you give him about a year or two to build up, and then by the 3rd year, you're going to see that program flourishing. So that's my thoughts.
Agree. I totally think Summerall
What
is the favorite right now. Oh, Mike, sorry.
it out of all these jobs, do y'all think that Jimbo Fisher gets a call from one of these schools?
Absolutely.
I think he does. I think he does with
Low and
Auburn.
Please
Mike,
no.
y'all are my good friends in real life. I'm willing to bet either of you that whomever Auburn hires as their head coach doesn't last 5 seasons there. I'm willing to guarantee it.
It's a
That's a
trend.
long future.
It's a trend.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like,
It's hard
I
to
don't
do,
think it
man.
matters. I don't think it matters who they hire. I don't think it matters who they hire. I think that the program, unless it's one of those really big older names, I think
Jimbo?
any young guy that signs up to be the head coach at Auburn is just a place setter. I'm sorry. I just like it's going to take a complete overhaul or where they just suck for about 5 years. But I just don't see it, man. Like if you're a college recruit, what reason would you go there right now?
They got money, bro. They got the number one player in the portal last year. So offensive wise,
Yeah, the money sounds good. But they're never gonna. They're not. I don't think they're gonna win anything. They gotta, unless they like hit the lottery and get like the number one quarterback in America out of high school, like Michigan did. I think Auburn is fucked for the indefinite future.
I
yeah,
think if they go out and get a Summerall, and like I can't remember who said it, but if they go out and get Summerall and build that defense, they build that foundation of regional recruiting and kind of don't play the Hugh Freeze game that he's tried to play, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go into the portal and get some guys, and then just worry about everything else later. No, like
Mhm.
Auburn needs a rotation of people, and a quarterback obviously is going to help. But I think you can, if you're John Summerall and you're given like 2 or 3 years to kind of suck, I think you get surprised early with how gritty his teams are and how willing his teams are to play for each other and play for their head coach. I think Summerall, out of any of these SEC teams, because obviously he's been in that region for a long time, he already has that deep connection to that region. I feel like recruiting wouldn't be as hard as maybe it feels like it is in the SEC with all these elite teams. I just think for literally any of these teams, John Summerall is a no-brainer. I specifically thought LSU would do it because he's already in the state of Louisiana, but Auburn would also make a ton of sense because he was at Troy before that. It makes too much sense in my mind, and I'm just worried all these teams are going to be like, well, I mean, it's Tulane or it's Troy. Like, to me, you Florida messed up in getting Billy Napier, and he was a great recruiter, but he could never really get over other than last season when they won 8 games.
Yeah.
I think Summerall is a better coach rather than a good recruiter than Billy Napier is. Like it just makes too much sense to get John Summerall if you're literally any of these teams in the SEC.
Listen, I think Summerall's a great coach, and I totally agree with you. I thought LSU would be all over him. I thought he would be the first guy on their list. My only issue is this: Auburn went back to being a Nike school, right? If you're a recruit, you picking Auburn over Alabama or Oregon?
Maybe if you grew up in Alabama and you're like one of the top recruits in Alabama, maybe yeah. I don't think they need to go out and get the top recruits in the country. I think they need somebody who's going to develop talent and develop that rotation and get that blue chip talent just because of being in the SEC and being a team like Auburn. They're going to luck into, or I guess you're going to have kids who grew up watching Auburn and they're going to want to play for them, even though they have offers from an Oregon or an LSU. You're not going to get 6 of those a year, but you're going to get one in the first 3 years who really is able to, like a defensive end who stays with you for 3 years and develops underneath you and then turns into an NFL player. And within that, hopefully you build the defense around them. You get an offense that isn't completely stagnant with a quarterback who flopped out of Oklahoma, and then you overpay for him because you think you can fix him. And you don't need to go out and land a top 5 class. If you're Auburn, you just need to get back to making bowls every year and winning 7 games and 8 games and 9 games and really chopping wood and getting a guy like Summerall who is capable of doing that and building that foundation rather than just getting like 5-star recruits and praying to God that they don't all end up as busts,
I just pray that if he gets the job, he doesn't lose his quarterback to another school, because at least he won't have to worry about losing his quarterback because of money. That's like the only plus, I guess, in taking the job immediately. Because I think he'll be able to get a good quarterback to come to Auburn based on him as a coach.
how much eligibility does Westcliff have?
Well, I think you could also you could reasonably see a Darian Mensah if he stays in college another year. I think he's a junior or a sophomore. He might be a sophomore. You could
He's my
absolutely
QB1.
get a Mensah.
He's my QB1 entering the draft this year. I think if he goes, he's the top guy.
This is his 3rd year.
Yeah, he can go this year. I think if he
Okay.
goes, I got him as QB1 right now. As
He
far as
very well
NFL ready
could.
right now.
He very well could, or he could pull a Cam Ward, reunite with. Wait, Yeah, reunite with Summerall and end up at an SEC school, and then for sure go in the first round.
That would be fire. I actually thought about that because they lost him because of money, but I don't think that. I think that after the season's over, I think he's going to look at the draft boards, and I don't think there's going to be any way he could turn it down. Partially because the QB class, the next couple QB classes are much better. That's my only reasoning as to why I think he would bounce right now.
Yeah, for sure. Line Sawyer, you got your hand up. Any thoughts on the Auburn opening and Hugh Freeze being fired?
Yeah, no, I was just, I mean, you kind of hit the hammer with the nail there, like with the recruiting. I mean, they just stuck between like a rock and a hard place because like Georgia and Alabama and LSU all recruiting the same kids, and it's like, well, where do I want to go? Would I rather go to Georgia, Alabama, or LSU, or Auburn? And it's like they end up getting basically the scraps of what
Mm-hmm.
those three programs don't really want. And so it's a hard job, to take. But I mean, I feel like a guy like Summerall could, make a little noise. But with definitely like with LSU kind of being, kind of iffy right now, and Alabama being iffy, not just being as dominant as they were. This probably could be a better recruiting year for them to get some of those guys that they've been losing. But it's a rough gig though. I mean, I was just gonna say you kind of hit it. That's exactly what I was gonna say before you kind of mentioned it.
For sure, for sure. Appreciate you coming up to speak. Not moving on, but another report that came out related to the coaching carousel. There was a report that came out earlier this week that Penn State athletic director Pat Kraft was going down to Georgia Tech and was going to meet with Georgia Tech head coach Brent Key. I personally think that would be a great hire for Penn State. I mean, he's been a culture builder, a program builder at his alma mater. It tends to be a common theme. A lot of these candidates are coaching at their alma mater, surprisingly. But I think he'd be a great fit at Penn State, just solely because, I mean, his record against ranked opponents in the ACC has been great. I believe it's like 6-1 or something along those lines, which is already an upgrade from Franklin record wise. But I think he also is a great fit, like just based on like the tone he sets for his program. I think he kind of gets his players to play for him and play for their teammates. I just think he would be a great culture fit for what Penn State is looking for right now. Someone that's not going to beat around the bush. Like if you want to play for Penn State, if you want to play for this program, he's going to get those kids to come there personally, and I think he'd be a great fit. Just curious to get the panel's thoughts on Brent Key potentially being a candidate for Penn State.
I want to say he's like a former offensive lineman. That's where the grit comes from. I mean, be honest, we see some like former linemen actually make some really great coaches. And I mean, the way he's turned that Georgia Tech program around has just been tremendous. I mean, they were almost undefeated, shouldn't have lost last week, but I mean, they're definitely still making some noise for the ACC championship. So
I just think it's
I mean,
funny
that'd be an
that
awesome hire.
when coaches get tied to the Penn State job, they lose the following week. I just wanted to add that.
I mean, that was everyone last week. We'll get into that on the weekend recap. But yeah, that's been every coach the last 2 weeks.
If Key met with the AD, I would quit and take the job at Penn State the next day.
Yeah.
Respectfully, Georgia Tech's cool. Penn State offers him the job, he should leave immediately.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those, like, I mean, I would consider Georgia Tech a lower tier, even though they're, a Power 4 school. Like, if I'm at a lower tier school and I'm even being, considered for the job, and then I get a phone call, I'd be like, I don't even care what you're offering me. Like, I'm taking the job. Personally, like, I mean,
not that he's like not that he's not a great candidate. You know what I mean? He's a great candidate. I just think that like he is. I do agree with what you were saying. I think he's a good fit. I think he'd be a good fit at Penn State.
Yeah, for sure. That's just to finish what I was saying. Like, I just think if I was in that position, I think if I'm in a lower tier program, I'm taking the job. I'm taking that job immediately, just solely based on like knowing what I could do, the program that I've built, over the past few years, and just being able to recruit at a high level clearly translates to results on the field. Colton, you had your hand up for a second. If you had another thought.
Yeah, that hire, I honestly really like that fit as well because it reminds me a lot of Mike Elko at lowly Duke, who's underfunded and somehow managing to win 8 games a year at Duke.
Yeah.
And then Texas A&M opens up, and you're like, oh, it reminds me of an LSU or an Auburn or a Penn State currently, where it's like, oh, all these names, and then it's like Mark Stoops and Mike Elko, and then people are like, I wouldn't have fired. I mean, everybody would have fired Jimbo, but people are like, the job market or the market for this job isn't very good. And then you go out and almost get Mark Stoops, which thank God they didn't. And then they get Mike Elko, and it's still kind of like, but it's one of those really gritty coaches who, he just needs a year. He needs to get some guys in, and he can turn it around immediately and start winning games. And now Texas A&M's undefeated. They have Samford on their schedule, so they officially will not go 8-4 for the first time in 1,000 years. And that's a program on the rise, and they always had the funding, just like Penn State. They're there. I don't know if Penn State is as rich in resources as Texas A&M, but Penn State is definitely a top job in the Big Ten at least. And you get a guy like that who's made it work at a Georgia Tech. It's the same with Summerall, in my opinion. It's like how do we not talk about these guys more who are just like a Manny Diaz? Like, I know he tried at Miami, but you could argue that was just too early on in his career, and now he's at Duke, and it's working out. I just really like the coach who's been able to make it work at a lower tier program, especially getting those resources out of Penn State or out of Texas A&M. Brent Key just makes a ton of sense. I was looking more like regionally, and like I like Brian Hartline just because of his mind offensively, and Penn State's really been needing like a good offensive mind. But Brent Key, I mean, he's pretty good himself. He's got one of the best pro spread offenses in the country.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason he'd be a great fit. Just solely because of the offensive style he runs. If it would fit a Penn State program perfectly. You're gonna want to smash your opponent in the mouth running the ball, and then be able to catch him in the play action pass or just stretch him down the field after bringing everyone in with the run game. So I completely agree that would be a great fit just stylistically as a coach. If anyone else has any final thoughts on the coaching carousel as a whole, you got the floor, but we were going to move on just to do a quick recap of this past weekend.
I just wanted to, I agree Georgia Tech is like a low tier program, but I don't understand how, like you right downtown Atlanta. I mean, it's an ACC school. I mean, like if you're not like on a beach somewhere, where else do you want to be? I just don't get it, but yeah. Perlito, defend your city, man. Come on. No,
I think with Georgia Tech
you ever taken calculus before?
Yeah. Georgia Tech's got way like really high academic standards, I'm pretty sure.
I think that is it as well. But they make exceptions for football and shit like that. They could, so I don't know. They
Vandy did that this season. Vandy changed a bunch of their academic standards to get players in the portal, and look at them now.
Yeah,
no, I think Diego's a secret genius. That guy, I mean, he's got to have a 4.0.
Yeah, he seems like that type of guy for sure. All right. If no one has any other thoughts on the coaching carousel, I think we did a pretty good job summing up everything that's been put out there so far. Where else to start in the Week 10 recap than those Miami Hurricanes, man? Mario Cristobal in the month of November, 4-11 at Miami in the month of November. SMU beats Miami in their first true road game of the season outside the state of Florida, 26-20 in overtime. Carson Beck, man. Carson Beck, where do we even start? throws the costly pick in overtime, leading to the SMU touchdown in that overtime period. You know, I was pretty much spot on overlooking Carson Beck in the preseason. Not to toot my own horn, but I said it time and time again, in the preseason that I didn't think Carson Beck was all that, and time has slowly proven that seems to be true. Wine Slayer, you had something?
Just fraud. That's what he was. I was right there with you. I could not believe all the talk about how great Carson Beck was. I mean, even when he did start the season off pretty good, if he was all that great, he'd have stayed his tail at Georgia. Like, you don't leave a Georgia program if you're the man.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like his receivers were bailing him out at times earlier in the season. That defense, lit the world on fire to start the season. So I feel like there were a bunch of factors that kind of were kind of the topics over how Carson Beck was playing. And again, time slowly showed that. Had the 4 interception game against Louisville a few weeks ago, threw 2 interceptions this past game against SMU. So, his stock as an NFL quarterback has quickly dropped from where it was in the early weeks of the season. Roddy, you got your hand up. As a Georgia fan, watching your former quarterback, and I know he's on your hate list, has to feel pretty good.
I told y'all. Y'all told me I was hating. I told y'all he stinks. The one thing that I want to highlight about that situation, did y'all see his post-game presser?
No, I did not. I did not.
He said in his post-game presser, quote, "Well, I'm just executing the plays that are called." Like, okay, so this is the second time in a row this year where you're Mr. Pass the Buck. That's what he was here. That's what he's going to be there, man. I'm just telling y'all. The dude sucks. He doesn't want to take accountability. And I was, preaching the whole offseason or before the season, preseason, to where all of the guys, like, on our team were intentionally giving Gunner praise. Like, saying how much of a leader he is and how great his leadership is. And yeah, he's not the best quarterback in the country. We obviously agree with that. Carson Beck is probably more talented than Gunnar Stockton. But the dude's wanting to play for you is also a huge factor. And I am not shocked that this is how it's going. That's what it is, bro. I told you this was going to happen. I just did. So my hate watch was, it was lovely. It was lovely. Hey, well, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it felt great for you, and other Georgia fans were like, if you don't want to be here, then get out of town. You weren't even that great to begin with. So,
hey, and on the record, we asked him to come back. By the way, we did ask him to come back. He said he wanted to go be with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So we was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, look how that worked out too. We'll go around the horn. We'll go around the horn real quick. Get everyone's thoughts on this. We'll start with Line Slayer since he just came off of mute.
No thoughts. I've already voiced my thoughts. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
That was funny talking about his girlfriend deal like that. That went south so fast. That shit's crazy.
It's a factor that, I mean, yes, he did get paid a pretty good amount of money to go play quarterback at Miami. Let's not discount the fact that his girlfriend at the time was there.
He got him paid.
Yeah.
That's the one that got him paid. Yeah, that's why I don't know if he said, I give you a percentage or something. If we just kind of like fake this relationship for a little while or something. I don't know, man. Let me stop.
I mean, it's definitely something to be considered. That's for sure. Sosa, we'll start with you. Any thoughts on Carson Beck? I know you're not a big fan.
I feel like you guys are being a little tough on him, man. I'll be honest.
Oh, what makes you say that?
I think he's getting a lot of blame. It's just not all his fault, It's not all his fault, Quarterback's only as good as his tools. I mean, they don't want to hand the ball off. they want to put the ball in his hands when they know he's a fucking bozo. That's what you're gonna get. This is what happens. Um, I don't know. I was on the opposite side at the beginning of the year. He looked good against us. But then I realized that CJ Daniels like saved his ass with like
That's
the
what
most
I'm
incredible
talking
catch
about, bro.
at the fucking 1 yard line as the ball was going to land in the hands of a safety. But you know, you live and you learn, man, and things happen. And it is what it is. Like what we've seen from him the last couple of games, Roddy was right in regards to the accountability thing. Like, you can't say that the guy ran. I mean, you can say the guy ran the wrong route, but like say it in the locker room when you're bitching to them. You know what I mean? Like you can't go to the presser and say that. That's insane. That is absolutely fucking insane. And yeah, again, I just have to be honest. Like I was completely wrong about him. I thought that after a month of games, that yeah, he looked all right, but they also have a high reliance on a freshman receiver. I mean, it's come apart here in the last couple of weeks, and luckily for them, Georgia Tech caught a L, so Miami season's not completely over yet. I think that's the only saving grace here, right? Like they still have everything to play for. Still, even with 2 losses, they still have every reason to still go out there and try to win every game that's left on the schedule. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's a fucking bozo.
It only takes one of those other teams at the top of the ACC to slip up. That's for sure. And I agree. He is a bozo. That's for sure. Colton, any thoughts on Miami's loss to SMU?
Yeah, I was also somebody who was pretty high on him, not specifically for his personality, but we saw Cam Ward last year coming
You
to
know
Miami.
ball. It's because you know ball, bro. Don't let anybody tell you different. It's 'cause you know ball.
Yeah,
Don't let nobody tell you different.
Yeah, I'm a genius. That's why I thought
Correct.
that.
Yes, as am I.
What? Yeah. Why do you
Play
think?
the Spider-Man meme.
Why do you think we're up here speaking, bro? We know ball. We know everything.
Right. I wasn't wrong about Carson Beck. Carson Beck was wrong about Carson Beck. Okay,
You
messed it up.
You had the
I
right
didn't
read.
mess anything up.
You had the right read. He messed it up. He messed up your.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally. No, I thought like Georgia's obviously an elite program, won 2 national championships with Kirby Smart, but last year specifically, the run game wasn't like very good. They struggled a lot on offense just in general, and I thought going to a Miami with an elite offensive line with plenty of weapons, I thought he would just like, be like Cam Ward and really surge in that offense. But mechanically he's there. I don't know if obviously decision making is at putting it the best way possible a question mark. And then personality wise, I try not to take into account like it. I try to take my emotions out of it. Not that saying he's like a bad locker room guy is emotional, but I had all these feelings beforehand. I kind of just tried to ignore that and tried to get like my personal bias against him out of the way. And I did predict him to do pretty well. And I think the start of the year, I was like, yeah, he's doing about as good as I thought. And then November, Miami hit, and it's all falling apart. So not great.
Listen, also, you forgot to mention 0-0. The fucking receivers at Georgia last year were dog shit. You forgot to mention that part too. The receivers fucking sucked.
Very big part of that. Agreed. Led the country in
Dylan
drops.
Dylan Bell started catching the football when Carson left. I'm just saying.
Yeah, after you went and got Zachariah Brandt. What the fuck are you talking about?
Man, look, I'm just telling you what happened, man. That's all. But look, and I'm thinking about it right now too. Like, so Carson was there for the first year of Stetson. He was a freshman though, and then he was there as a sophomore. Or no, he was there as a freshman for Stetson the second year we won a championship. Just based on how he acting right now, I know he was like, man, this little short midget is trash, bro. I could do way better than him, bro. If they put me in the game, bro, I know for a fact he was hating on Stetson.
He definitely has the ego for that, just based on how he carries himself. Completely agree with that. Just before we continue on recapping last weekend, the selection show, or not selection show, holy shit. The ranking show is about to start on ESPN. So once they officially start releasing the playoff top 25. We'll put a pause in the recap for week 10, and we will do a live reaction to the rankings as they come out. But until then, another game to break down in the ACC. Number 8 Georgia Tech suffers their first loss of the season. Of course, as Brent Key is being considered for all these other jobs, he goes and loses his first game of the season. They lose to NC State on the road, 48-36. NC State, without their leading receiver and starting running back Hollywood Smothers, put up 583 yards of total offense on Georgia Tech. That is the most Georgia Tech has given up this season. And NC State, with CJ Bailey at the helm, pulled off a top 10 upset at home. Curious to get the panel's thoughts. One, where does Georgia Tech, now where what is your outlook on Georgia Tech now going the rest of the season? As we all know, they have that famous game against Georgia at the end of the season, which will be huge, even though it is not a conference game. And does the Brent Key, I guess, consideration for other jobs, play a factor into how this team performs down the stretch? Anyone can start.
I think they dropped the ball. They lost a game that might have been smelling themselves a little bit, but I don't nothing changes if they're good enough to beat every single team left on their schedule and win the conference and get in the playoff. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't. It's an embarrassing loss, yes, but I don't think the coaching has any. I don't think the coaching situation or that. I don't think that plays a part. Honestly, I think that same as the week before. They lost, but everything that they want out of the season is still in front of them.
For sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say their games that are left. They have Boston College and Pitt conference wise, and then you mentioned the Georgia game. But I mean, Pitt's been pretty good. I mean, that's gonna be a challenge for them. I feel like, but yeah, they should finish the season with no worse than 2 losses in the conference. So I think they're gonna be right there still for like the ACC championship. I mean, the crazy thing with the ACC that I just realized is you got 6 teams with 1 loss. You got Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville, SMU, and Duke all have 1 loss. 5 teams with 1 loss. So, I mean, it's up for grabs for anybody. And then, the Hurricanes are sitting down there with 2 losses. So, I mean, I honestly think it's going to be a rough go for them because Virginia, they're 5-0. And the rest of their schedule seems like pretty much like a cake. Well, they got Duke. Other than that, they're looking at Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. So I mean, they're probably only going to lose 1, so they're going to be right there. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the ACC.
Yeah, for sure. Just using the rankings tonight as an example, I'm curious to see where they put Virginia. Undefeated in the ACC. Their 1 loss was a conference game, but it's considered a non-conference loss to NC State. I'm curious to see where they put them tonight. I fully believe they're going to be in the top 12 in the playoff field. But I don't know. The ACC is a complete toss-up to me because some of those teams play each other down the stretch. Head-to-heads can be pulled into consideration. So ACC is definitely a toss-up right now, for sure. Another game from this past weekend that the score doesn't actually wait. Hold on, put a pause in it. I think they are starting the rankings. Yes, they are. Okay, we're gonna put a pause.
Do 25 down.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna put a pause in the recap of week 10. Okay. These are the playoff rankings. I'm going to announce them as they pop up on my screen. Number 25 is Tennessee at 6-3.
Bro.
Number 24 is Pitt at 7-2. The Pitt Panthers are ranked. Number 24 have a huge couple games down the stretch. They do host Notre Dame and Miami. Number 23, the Washington Huskies, 6-2. I mean, not really in contention for the Big Ten, but could, I mean, hypothetically get it at large, but if they, finish 10-2 or something. 22, Missouri, 6-2, have a huge game against A&M this coming weekend. They're a little lower than I thought they were going to be. I guess they took those losses to Alabama and Vandy pretty heavily. And then 21, Michigan. Michigan has basically a cakewalk until the game at the end of the season. They play bottom feeders until Ohio State at the end of the year. So bottom 5, Tennessee 25, Pitt 24, Washington 23, Missouri 22, and Michigan 21. Number 20, the Iowa Hawkeyes at 6-2 have a huge game against Oregon this coming weekend. Last time I looked, Oregon was a 6-point favorite at Kinnick. That line might have changed. Someone can correct me. The last time I looked, that was a 6-point favorite to Oregon. Waiting for the next one to pop up. Also, we all know Iowa's offense. They just run the freaking ball. So
Yeah, USC 6-2.
USC at 19.
19.
Yep.
Miami Hurricanes at 18, 6-2.
Man, Lions players just spoiling this shit for me, bro. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, USC at 19. Off a huge win against Nebraska this past weekend. Finally, Lincoln Riley can go on the road and win a Big Ten football game in a Big Ten fashion, aka running the ball and playing defense. Miami, number 18, again, not out of anything, but they essentially have to win out and also hope that someone above them in the ACC drops another game, with their 2 losses being in conference. Kind of surprised they're at 18. Thought they were going to be a little lower. Like, I would put Missouri above them right now, personally. Georgia Tech dropped all the way to 17. Their one loss really put them on the outside looking in the committee's eyes. Thought this was going to be like more resume based, and now Georgia Tech at number 17, 8-1, above Miami. 16, Vanderbilt, 7-2. Their 2 losses to Alabama and last week to Texas, which Texas kind of comfortably won that game. Scored didn't represent how that game played out. Louisville, number 15. So committee views Louisville in a higher light in that win on the road against Miami and at home against Virginia, who, speaking of Virginia, is just above them at number 14. Virginia beat Louisville at Louisville. Excuse me. Yeah. So they view that win at Miami pretty highly, I guess.
Ooh.
13 is Utah. That's probably the biggest shock of the night so far. The committee is very high on Utah.
Yeah. That's kind of strange.
Again, Utah's 2 losses to BYU and not A&M, Texas Tech, excuse me. But obviously beat the brakes off of Cincinnati last week. We would have seen Cincinnati in the rankings by this point. They are not there. So obviously you beat a team that was undefeated in your conference, handing them their first conference loss by 1 million. Looked pretty impressive to me and obviously to the committee as well. Number 12 is Oklahoma. Huge win on the road against now number 25 Tennessee last week. Also impressed me a lot. Showed that they could keep up with a potent offense, get beat in every metric statistically in the game and still find a way to pull out a win. So really good job on their part. Number 11, their arch rival Texas at 7-2, off a huge win against Vanderbilt last week. And again, that score did not represent how that game played out. Texas dominated that game front to back. Vanderbilt put up a good effort to come back in that game, but again, Texas with a massive win against Vandy last week. They come in at number 11. So just based on that, 12. So Oklahoma would be the first team out right now. Also, they didn't put a group of 5 team in the ranking. Just want to put that out there. So I'm curious to see who they put as the group of 5 rep right now, unless they really put Memphis in the top 10. But there is no way they do that. At least, I mean, I don't know. Can't say no way. But Notre Dame comes in at number 10. Sosa, first immediate thoughts.
It's where they're going to max us out at 10. We can't get any higher. That's it.
I mean, you could. Teams above you could lose.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case because I think another person from a conference will move ahead of us. I think Texas 10 is where they max us out.
Yeah, now they're doing a whole montage of Jeremiah Love running for 94 yards against Boston College.
Yeah, like right now there are only really like 2 big surprises with like Missouri and the other one, Utah.
Utah is the biggest surprise by far. I did not think they were going to be that high.
Absolutely hate Tennessee in the top 25, but that's personal.
Yeah, Tennessee in the top 25 with 3 losses is kind of criminal. Especially, I mean, as of right now, they haven't put a G5 team in. Like, we couldn't put Memphis above Tennessee.
Yeah, that's absolutely Memphis spot. I don't know.
Number 9.
9 is crazy.
Number 9, the Oregon Ducks at 7-1. That's pretty on par. That's pretty on par where I put them. Not gonna lie.
Okay, yeah, they're 6 in AP and in other polls. So I mean, that's just, I feel like, for the committee to put them down 4 spots, that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even. I mean, I put out earlier where I thought committee was going to put teams. Speaking of, let me pull because I don't remember it off the top of my head. I think that's pretty similar to where I thought they were going to put Oregon. Yeah, I had them putting Oregon at 8. I had Notre Dame at 10. They also haven't, or what they put Virginia at 13, 14. I had them putting Virginia in
14. Yeah.
And again, they haven't even set a group of 5 team yet. So this is kind of crazy. Texas Tech, yeah. So I had Oregon and Texas Tech flipped in my prediction. Texas Tech comes in at number 8. They will play, I assume, a fellow top 10 team again. Yep, right above them, BYU number 7. So noon Eastern on ABC Saturday, number 7 BYU on the road at number 8 Texas Tech. In all likelihood, a preview to the Big 12 championship game as of right now. 7 versus 8. Number 6, the Ole Miss Rebels at 8-1. Didn't really. It's not that
from here on out. It's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, that didn't really come as a surprise. I think. I mean, I'm just curious to see who they put at 1 now, because my personal opinion, I think they put Indiana at 1. I think Indiana has a better resume than Ohio State.
Yeah, they took Oregon from 6 and moved them all the way down to 9, and they just bumped everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really understand why Oregon was ever at 6 in the AP. Yeah, here they're flying through this now. Georgia at number 5, Bama still at 4. I personally thought they would put Bama just slightly above A&M, just solely because Bama did beat 4 straight ranked teams, whereas A&M has beaten Notre Dame on the road at LSU. They got Missouri this weekend. I don't know. It was just my personal opinion. But yeah, A&M comes in at 3. Now the real question, I mean, it obviously doesn't really matter at this point, but who will come in as the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State or Indiana?
Top 5.
Indiana will stay at number 2, and that means the Ohio State Buckeyes come in as the number 1 team in the country still. So, yeah, again, they have not put a group of 5 team in the rankings, so curious to see what they think right now of the group of 5. I guess they really don't have to put a group of 5 team ranked until the last week of the season, hypothetically. But
No, they got Memphis in there. Not
yeah, I hear Line Slayer's audio. My feed is way behind, but I'm still just watching it. Yeah, so Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, A&M 3, Bama 4. Yeah, so they do. Okay, wow. Mine was my prediction was very similar. So yeah, they have Memphis as the group of 5 rep. They do have Virginia in as the last at large bid, which is what I predicted. They have Texas as the first team out and Oklahoma as the second team out. So right now, Georgia would host Memphis. Texas Tech, the 8 seed, would host, Oregon. Ole Miss, the 6, would host Virginia, who would be the ACC champion as of right now. And then 7, BYU would host 10, Notre Dame. Catholics versus Mormons. That'd be crazy on paper, actually.
so really. It looks like there's 10 spots available because the group of 5 team is going to get in, and then the second group of 5 ACC team is going to get in as well too. So whoever wins the ACC will be 11. The group of 5 will be 12, and there's 10 other spots available.
Yeah, so personally, I think the top 4, I don't want to say it's a lock, but I mean, I think it's a very unlikely chance that top 4 changes, personally. I think every team is just fighting probably for 7 through 11. I mean, I don't see how Georgia or Ole Miss don't get in either.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll all stay in the top 10. Those in the top 6, and like you say, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those 4 spots are the ones that's gonna probably be up for grabs.
Yeah, for sure. So my prediction was Memphis, G5, Virginia 11, Notre Dame 10. I had Texas Tech at 9, Oregon 8, BYU 7, and then the same top 5, except I had Indiana 1, Ohio State 2. So yeah, anyone on the panel, first immediate thoughts on the rankings? Me personally, Utah at 13 is kind of crazy. We'll start with Roddy since he's got his hand up.
I'll challenge that, Reed. Let me ask you something.
Yeah, what's up?
Texas got a better resume than Utah, right?
I think playing in the SEC is a big factor in that.
Yeah, well, take the SEC
Yeah,
bias out of it.
it's no conversation to be had. Texas got the best loss of any team in America.
Yeah, they got the best loss, but they also are one of Florida's 2 wins.
The game is the game, brother. They have the best loss in the country.
And what? Utah's 2 losses, the 2 teams that Utah lost to, are in
Utah
front of them,
lost by
correct?
like 50. Utah lost by like 50 at the crib to a backup quarterback.
Yeah, but they did the injury
Yeah, but
manipulation
what?
stuff.
It's the Big 12. It's
in
not the
Texas
fucking
Tech game.
SEC.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just asking you. I'm asking questions. I'm not making statements. I'm just wanting to know.
Yeah. I'm
Texas,
sorry. I don't mean to
Texas
sound
has
like
a better
my
resume.
bad. You're right. My fault. No, the
I'm just
Texas. I'm just saying Texas losing to Ohio State. That's their ace in the hole, brother. Because
Yeah,
we have the 2 best losses collectively as a team. So Texas is the team now that's on the list. Like they lose again, they're out the way.
I get it. I'm just saying the
Hey,
2 teams
I
that.
will say this though.
Oh, my bad, Line.
No,
Sorry, I just want to say
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
go ahead, Roddy. Finish what you're saying, Roddy.
The 2 teams
Finish
that
what you
Utah
gonna say,
lost
Roddy, my
to
bad.
are in front of them, and only 1 team is in front of Texas because the other team is not ranked, and they have 2 wins. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Also Tennessee ranked. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that, like, so Indiana should definitely be good for the rest of the season. They don't play any team that has more than 3 wins this season. I mean, it should be cake for them. Now, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia, their schedules are crazy. Like Texas A&M has to play Missouri this week, and then they come back and they still have to play Texas as well. So, I mean, those 2 games are not locks for them at all. And
I
I want
think
to
they
say
win both personally.
Alabama
That's just me.
has to play Oklahoma, and then they got Auburn, and then they also got LSU. So they've got like a rough schedule still to go as well too. And then I want to say Georgia has Texas and Georgia Tech and Mississippi State this week. I mean, they should run through Mississippi State, but I mean, I feel like Texas is definitely that's going to be a game, Georgia Texas. And I mean, Georgia Tech should give them a fight this year. I mean, that was not going to be an easy one either. So I mean, if you look at like the SEC schools that's like in the top 7, I mean, Ole Miss is cake. I mean, they have Florida and Mississippi State, but I mean, they should be one of the better scheduled teams. So I mean, I don't feel like they're going to change, but like it's rough for Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia.
So just looking over the rankings again, I mean, even the committee doesn't even know who's going to win the ACC at this point. Like, they have the 4 ACC like leaders, 14, 15, 17, 18, and then they also have Pitt down there at 24, who's also in contention for the ACC. So really, the committee doesn't even have a favorite. I mean, they're just going with Virginia because they do lead the conference right now. So also, thank you to the committee for finally ranking Iowa. How has Iowa not been ranked this whole time, bro? Or not this whole time, but like the last few weeks at least. Like, thank you for finally ranking Iowa. Michigan will always be in the bottom 5. USC at 19 could be sneaky. Just want to put that out there. USC can make some noise if they win out at least. Vandy 16, kind of low to me. Would have had him in that 11 to like 15, 14 range. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the first rankings, nothing really too crazy to go off of. Again, personally think they could have gone with any of the group of 5 teams over Tennessee at this current point. Tennessee at 25 is kind of criminal. Any other? Oh, Roddy, yeah.
No, my bad. I was just gonna say Tennessee being ranked at the beginning of the year was stupid anyway, but whatever. USC sneaky.
USC is sneaky. Just want to throw that out there. They went out.
USC is very sneaky. I'd say USC and Missouri are both really sneaky. Because Missouri also they got number 3 Texas A&M coming up, and then they got number 12 Oklahoma coming up as well too. And if they win both of those games, they should find themselves in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Also, Miami at 18. It'll obviously be hard for them to get to the ACC, but I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility that they sneak into the at-large maybe at 11.
It'll
They
be
win out.
it'll be tough.
11 is going to the ACC. Yeah, so they have to win out. They have to win the ACC to get that 11 spot. But I don't even see them getting in the ACC championship with 2 losses.
See,
And they're like I say, there's 6.
See, I just want to push back on that. I just want to push back real quick on that line. So I feel like there's only going to be one Big 12 team in here. I feel like it's either going to be Texas Tech or BYU, I feel like they're only putting BYU up there right now because they are undefeated. And until they do lose a game or lose the Big 12 championship game, then I mean it's not a bad shout. Miami definitely has everything in front of them, but they got to win out. That's no doubt.
This year is going to be so much more hard to figure out that last spot than last year. Last year it was like SMU and Alabama, and then SMU had the conference title, so it was like, yeah. This year it's going to be like 6 10-2 teams, one conference championship loss, a couple no conference championship, but probably an extra or one less loss maybe. If BYU loses a game and then loses in the Big 12 championship,
They're
and
out.
they're 11-2, you think they're out?
I think they're out. Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely out. If they lose to Texas A&M, they're probably going to end up dropping to probably down somewhere below like Vanderbilt or Georgia Tech. You're going to see them drop from 8 all the way down to like 17 or 18.
Yeah, Miami definitely still has a great chance at large too, just solely because they did beat Notre Dame. Like we can't overlook that. And if USF somehow in some world makes it back up into consideration for the G5, they also have a win against them.
You know what's funny? The ACC representative in the playoff might not even be in the top 25 right now.
The ACC,
That's like possible.
The ACC representative?
Duke?
It could be, yeah. You could see a Duke sneak in there.
You could see a Duke sneak in there. I am not even going to lie to you.
They play Virginia, they play UConn, they play North Carolina and Wake Forest. So if they win out, and then obviously they have the win over Virginia.
They only have one conference loss right now to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
They got one conference loss. Yep. Duke is 5-3.
What the fuck, bro?
That's crazy.
Shit. Who says Pitt can't get in there either? They got Miami and Notre Dame in their Final Four, and Georgia Tech.
It can get in there too.
Yeah, no. Why is nobody saying that? Because when they see us, we finna beat shit down their leg.
Yeah, just like you're doing with Navy this week, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're 25.5 points better than anybody in America, but I do like us to win the game.
Shit, what was the spread last week against Boston College?
We ain't cover it.
Yeah, 26.
I know you did. I took Boston. Yeah. I took Boston College plus 18.5 at halftime.
So that's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm from the old school, bro. Line it up and walk out with one more point than the other team. It don't even gotta look good.
As long as you win the game, because you play to win the game.
Hello.
Sure.
Yeah. Any other immediate thoughts on the rankings, and then we'll wrap up the show just previewing a few games for this coming weekend. No, everyone cool. Everyone good.
Yeah,
all right.
And the initial rankings we'll have to see, but yeah.
Again,
I'm still gonna argue for Utah, but that's just me. But anyway.
Yeah, again, it is the first one. Nothing too crazy to really react about. All right, I only wrote down 3 games that we're just going to talk about, just real quick, spotlight them. First one, number 3, Texas A&M, undefeated. Now goes on the road to, what is Missouri's ranking now? What, 23 was their ranking? Missouri, no, I had it up. Missouri 22.
23, yeah.
22 Missouri. I do not have the current line in front of me, but last time I looked, it was A&M -6. 3:30 kick on ABC. Again, Missouri is without Bo Prabula, done for the season, so they're going to Zollers, the backup QB. It has a similar, playing style, body type every which way about it, similar to Brabula. So I don't think anything is going to change game plan wise, at least at the quarterback position for Missouri. A&M comes in hot off of the huge win at LSU. They're rolling. They control their own destiny. I think they could even lose a game at some point down the stretch here and still make it into the playoff. But a huge one against Missouri. So curious to get the panelists' thoughts.
I feel this is similar for Missouri. I mean, they lose Pribula, but like you said, Zollers, I mean, he's a top 10 quarterback from 2025. Doesn't have the experience. I mean, Pribula didn't have any like real meaningful in-game experience, but like just being in college football in the world, he doesn't have that much experience. But Missouri wasn't built around Pribula. Like they're a team that could lose a quarterback, and as long as it's not like a 5'9", 250-pound guy coming in at quarterback, they will be able to compete still with Ahmad Hardy, Jamal Roberts. They got weapons on the outside. Marquise Johnson, I believe it is. And those two edge rushers, I have to talk about them every time we talk about Missouri. Zion Young, Damon Wilson, elite edge rushers. And in any game where they decide, hey, we're going to get to the quarterback 5 times at least, any game where that happens, they're going to be in it. And I think, A&M's line is solid, but if those edge rushers just turn up, if Josiah Trotter can stuff the middle with what's his name, Reuben? No, not Reuben Foster. What's the running back's name for A&M?
Reuben Owens.
Reuben Owens, yeah. Reuben Foster is 49ers, yeah, something like that. Reuben Owens, if they can stuff the run game, make Marcel Reed use exclusively his arm, I see he could make a mistake and Missouri could win. I'm not going to bet on that happening, but I like Texas A&M to win, but it's at Missouri. They have a solid team that's not necessarily centered around the quarterback, and I think they have a good shot, if not like a legit upset, lay the points or whatever.
Mm-hmm. For sure. We can go around the horn. Sosa, first thoughts on A&M at Missouri.
I can't put my money on Mizzou with a backup quarterback against A&M. A&M figured it out. Their defense has been good. I think that 0-0 you laid the game plan out as to how you compete in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that ultimately Texas A&M will be able to make two more plays. It is always tough to go to Columbia and win, so it's not going to be some easy walkthrough. But I do think that Texas A&M ultimately prevails. I think I just think they're the better football team, and I think that Mizzou's coach is halfway out the door. He's going somewhere. I don't know where he's going to end up, but he will. I don't think he'll be at Mizzou next year, and I think that the writing on the wall will start to become clearer after this week.
For sure. Don't hate that outlook. He's been in some conversations for other jobs. That's for sure. We'll go to Roddy next since he has his hand up.
Yeah. I'm trying not to think this might not be BTA for A&M. And I agree with Colton. I think that Missouri has a lot of things that A&M hasn't seen this year yet in terms of pass rush and defensively. But that A&M defense is tough, man. And I think Marcel Reed, even though I still can't prove he stinks, I'll prove it one day. But he just brings a new dynamic with his legs. I think if they're not able to turn the ball over, that's going to be the biggest thing. I think they can win the game and cover. I think it's at 7 now. I would like the 6.5, so I'd buy that half the point just to get a football number. But I think this is a Texas A&M win. I mean, they're hot. And like I said, I understand people, think this is Bama's conference to lose in terms of the SEC championship game, but I can't wait for that line to come out, man. If Texas A&M is a dog by more than 3.5 or 3.5 or more, I am taking it all day long. So I think this is Texas A&M win, though. I could see Missouri covering. I think, their backup, like you said, Colton is, a highly touted 5-star. one of the best recruits they've gotten there since Eli's been there. And I also disagree with Sosa. I think Eli is staying. And like I was saying, bro, he competed with a lot of recruits, man. Like for these bigger name schools, and they even considered going to Missouri. So I think he's got something good there. But in terms of game, that A&M. A&M on the spread probably is the play.
For sure. Don't hate that. Don't hate that look. Let's go to Low next. Low, any thoughts on A&M at Missouri?
I don't know. I think A&M is playing some elite football right now. I think they're pretty hard to stop. Marcel Reed is definitely up there in the Heisman conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And also A&M's defense has been playing some good football too. I don't know. It's hard for me to see. For me, when I look at Texas A&M, in order for them to lose, they have to beat themselves, and they really don't do that often. They don't beat themselves. They play good football. So, I know it's tough to win in Missouri, but with no Bo, I still like the run game that Missouri will possess, but I just think it's going to be too much Texas A&M. So I lean Texas A&M in this one.
For sure. Appreciate you. Line Slayer, any thoughts on A&M in Missouri?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a game that if Texas A&M doesn't come in serious, they definitely can lose to this Missouri team. I mean, Missouri is 6-2, but they pretty close to being like 8-0 pretty much. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Vandy was a game that, they let slip away. Also, Alabama game just, closed it to 17-17, and then the 10 unanswered kind of made it a little rough for them to come back from that one. But I mean, this Zollers kid, I don't know. I mean, Verbula wasn't playing lights out. It wasn't like he was, just killing it. So, I mean, Zollers is pretty high prospect himself, and I mean, his legs, I feel like might be able to shake things up for Missouri. I mean, they're already pretty much. I feel like they're heavy on the run game anyway, so he just needs to kind of come in and not make mistakes, bro.
For sure. For sure. That's definitely going to be a huge dynamic of, what does Missouri look like now without Verbule for a whole game? I know Zollers came in against Vandy, but for a whole game, how does that play out? Just one more game I wanted to preview tonight because we have been going for a little over an hour and a half now, so trying to get out of here. Number 8 BYU, or now I guess number 7 BYU at number 8 Texas Tech. Two teams at the top of the Big 12. Again, could see this game again at the Big 12 championship game. Texas Tech, last time I looked, was a 10.5-point favorite. I don't know if that line has moved at all, but clearly the books tell you everything they think. Texas Tech is a way better team on paper, neutral field, at home, whatever the case may be, against BYU. So curious to get the panel's thoughts on this. I think this is a huge Texas Tech spot. I think that Texas Tech is just solely the better team on paper. I think since they lost that Arizona State game and didn't have their best performance in that game, they've been playing with their hair on fire. I took Kansas State last week against them, and they completely shut me up about that. So I think this is a huge Texas Tech spot. Again, you got the spotlight on them. You got game day there, primetime spot at noon on ABC. So the whole country is going to be watching the Big 12 firsthand. So I like Texas Tech in this spot. Just think they can do a little bit more offensively than what BYU has to offer. I think this Texas Tech defense also makes a play or two against Bear Bachmeier. I think he could possibly have a couple turnovers in this game. So early thought, I like Texas Tech to win and cover the number. Curious to get the panel's thoughts. We'll start with Low and then go around the horn.
Yes, Texas Tech or nothing for me in this one. I mean, I get BYU is undefeated, but at the same time, with the amount of money that we talked about it all season, the amount of money that Texas Tech has spent on this defense, it looks the part. Offense, It doesn't matter whichever quarterback is in there playing. It seems like either quarterback is comfortable in the system and they know how to move the football and score. It's really hard for teams to come in first and foremost. It's extremely hard for teams to come into Texas Tech and win. They do the whole little enchilada, or they throw like the enchiladas or something in the end zone in the student section or
Yeah,
something like that.
the
Like
tortillas.
yeah, the tortillas and shit, right? So like that atmosphere in Lubbock, especially in Lubbock, that's all they know is Texas Tech football and basketball, right? That's what that town is predicated around. So whenever they got a home game, the whole city, the whole town comes out for it, and it gets pretty loud there, and it's pretty exciting stuff. But for me, it's Texas Tech here in this spot over BYU. I think this is where BYU takes their first loss. I kind of also feel like why I believe the committee had Texas Tech ranked above BYU, correct?
BYU was one spot above him. BYU was 7. Texas Tech was 8.
Okay. So yeah, this is definitely where it will shake itself out for sure. And so I think that these two teams also could wind up facing off versus each other in a rematch in the conference championship, because I still think like these are probably the two best teams in the conference. So when it's all said and done, regardless if whoever loses this one, I still feel like they're going to end up seeing each other for the conference championship when it's all said and done.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Colton, thoughts on the Cougars at the Red Raiders?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. BYU is going to be a team that leans heavily on the run.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Bear Backmeyer came into his own as a passer last week, but Iowa State has proved down the stretch that they're not an awesome team. They might be like an 8-4. I think they're currently 6-3, something like that. BYU's solid. They proved they're a lot less one dimensional than I think a lot of people thought they were last week, just with how Backmeyer performed. But yeah, I mean, Texas Tech has just been a lockdown, shutdown defense. They're not going to allow the multifaceted BYU rushing attack to allow Bear Backmeyer to be comfortable passing. It's going to be on like second and long, third and long for the most part. And I would honestly take a look at the under on this one. I think, let me actually look at it. Yeah, 52.5. I would honestly take a solid look at the under, because I think Texas Tech is going to be focused with the health issues Baron Morton has had. They're going to be focused on, getting out to an early lead. The game plan, at least, is going to be like airing it out early, probably trying to get like a 7-10 point lead, and then just kind of leaning on that and coasting. And BYU isn't, I mean, they were pretty explosive last week, but I don't think either of these teams really are going to go out there and score points very, very quickly. So that I would honestly have a lean there, but yeah, I would also go Texas Tech to cover as well.
For sure, appreciate you. I don't hate that underlook. I don't hate that underlook at all. Not gonna lie. Roddy, thoughts on BYU and Texas Tech?
Yeah, I wish Jake was in here, man, because he would tell you that BYU has been the luckiest team in America over the past couple of weeks, especially with how they're winning with Iowa State. But their luck might run out. I think defensively, Texas Tech is going to give them a lot of problems. They're a very fast, physical defense. So I would lean them. I think they know what's on the line. I think they know this is their last big hurdle, and then they can kind of wait until the conference championship game. But yeah, I don't really have a lot because I haven't looked at it. But early, I would say Texas Tech. I mean, we saw this similar line with Cincinnati and Utah last week. Get another 10.5 with two teams with a lot to play for. So yeah, I would say this is Texas Tech spot.
Appreciate you. Wine Slayer, final thoughts on BYU and Texas Tech?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the 10.5 is telling. I mean, I quite don't think that Texas Tech covers the 10.5, but I mean, I definitely feel like they do win this game. I mean, I know Cincinnati is definitely room for Texas Tech, because a loss, to Texas Tech by BYU, and then they have to face Cincinnati in like 2 weeks. Cincinnati be looking to be able to get that spot in the championship game. So, um, Yeah, I think this is a rough one for BYU.
Yeah, so completely agree with everyone. We're pretty much aligned all on Texas Tech in a big spot here. Again, double-digit spread like that. I mean, tells you everything what the odds makers think as well. All right, we've been going for a while here. Covered a lot. Appreciate everyone that came out to the show. Whoa, Colton Wineslayer, Roddy Sosa was up here. Mike Jones was up here for a minute. Appreciate all you guys tuning in, coming up to speak as well. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everyone that also retweeted the space. And if you have not yet, the tweet is up in the jumbo right now. It's the third one in the jumbo. Would appreciate a retweet of the space, get it on people's timelines. And yeah, that reacted to the first playoff rankings. Couple recaps of some games last weekend and a huge slate coming up this weekend. Top 10 showdown down there in Lubbock, Texas, for sure. Again, appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll be back here on Thursday for the preview show. Full breakdown of all the big games coming this weekend, best bets, things like that. Again, appreciate everyone tuning in. We will catch you all on Thursday. That time will be announced. Might have a conflict come up right after work, so we might have to push it back by like an hour. But I will release an official tweet either tomorrow or Thursday. But again, appreciate everyone tuning in. We will catch you on Thursday for the preview show. Again, thanks for everyone coming up to speak as well. Appreciate you guys very much. All right, we'll see you on Thursday. Peace.